Good morning. Happy Thursday. Happy new moon in Leo. I mean, I could say it's happy, but for some people, it's not. For some people, this reflection with the new intentions with children is not good. The parents of the missing, you know, the parents who have lost children, the parents who are losing children right now. This new moon in Leo is all about children, education. And some kids have already started school, some kids will be starting school. And so it is all about kids. Remember when we were talking about the state of Alabama showing up a lot? Well, we know why now. They had an underground bunker letting people go into that underground bunker abusing children. I mean, we live in a sick ass world, and all we got to do is just look at the Epstein crap. That's not going away. That's not going away. The one thing that I am interested in with the political stuff is to see how all of this is going to play out with Edward Snowden. The whole month of October, he looks like he is being transformed like crazy. So if y'all hear anything about Edward Snowden, reach out to me. Let me know, because I'm interested to see how this is all going to go down with him. I've been a little under the weather. I've been running myself ragged. My daughter had a miscarriage. Mercury in Leo is now retrograde. So we're revisiting the past. We're going back into the past, and I'm talking about that now. When she lost the baby, Mercury was stationing. It was a hard station, very intense. We had a lot going on. We've had a lot going on. So, and it's not just my daughter that's grieving. Her daughter, my granddaughter, is grieving. A lot of times children aren't planned. It wasn't the most ideal time. And in God's timing, we all have fate that comes to us, whether it feels good or it doesn't feel good. It is. It is what it is. And I appreciate that, Kathleen. Thank you. It's been rough. It's been rough to say the least. But we are moving forward, like we always do. We take these punches and then we move forward and just try to make the best of it. My daughter texted me last night, says, I think my granddaughter has hands, foot, and mouth now. She's 4 years old. And, it's very common. And that could be, well, I've been feeling under the weather. I don't know. But it is what it is. And here I am going to try to do I've definitely missed, looking at the astrology and talking about it. But this new moon in Leo is definitely about kids. It's definitely about the publicity with, underage, kids, and how we as adults have a responsibility. We have a responsibility with how our kids are educated, how our kids are treated. And there's a lot of publicity, right? There's a lot of publicity that is surrounding people abusing children. It's also about education, schools. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, who's been missing out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, he has been in the transits a lot of publicity. There's this new moon today. When I was doing the new moon in Leo video that is now on my on the YouTube, and if you don't know your rising sign, it's not really going to resonate with you as much as if if you're trying to go off your sun sign, it's really not going to resonate. But those of you who do know your rising sign, it's very good. Now, if like Jeff, he rises in Sag. Well, he rises in a critical degree in Sag. So the Sagittarius new moon in Leo is about that rising sign is with the 0 degree. So he's going to want to move, push his a little forward and not, anyway, I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, so here we go. Let's talk about these kids, because that's all I'm about is the kids. The kids are our future. And I want to show you guys what I was looking at that had me all messed up with the new moon in Leo, because all I kept seeing is Chris Proudfoot. He has a major opposition today. Remember, we were talking about SF investigates and how there was going to be problems with him and his ego. Well, we see that. We saw that, didn't we? SF investigates, can't even find his shoes, much less a missing person. So the state of Tennessee is not, they don't share information with him because he's loose lips. He talks too much. He says too much. Just like that video that he released. I mean, he didn't even see that there was a damn cat. I mean, what a goofball. What a goofball. Didn't even see a cat. Are we just stuck on stupid or what? So let's look at the transits right now. And if I'm being rude and crude and everything, forgive me. Please forgive me. It just is what it is. Okay, so I'm pulling up the chart now, and we're going to talk about this chart. I do see that there is a lot of action going on with the FBI this morning. There's a lot of warring going on with the magnetism of Chris Proudfoot this morning. And Mercury is at a 1355. Mercury is making its way to a full-on opposition with Chris Proudfoot. And let's see, the new moon in Leo for Nashville, Tennessee. Thanks, Jeff. I'm definitely being myself if I'm, being rude and crude about SF. We are not a fan of his. Jeff and I are not a fan of his, and we have good reason because of the Layla Centinello case. We have good reason not to be a fan of his because of that case. No doubt about it. For me, the warring really began with the Kylie Rodney case. He tries to take all the attention for himself, and it's just not cute. So what we're going to do is, I've talked about this day, and there's limits and obstacles with attention with Chris today. There is a lot of opposition with him and the media, the video. And it may even be that there is something else that is going to come out today, because there is things going on that we might not know about today. And it may surface and give us a clue, in the days ahead. I can definitely see that there is a transformation here with ice. Ice is in transit all day today with Tennessee and the United States. There's a lot of disordered aggression with them. I can definitely see a relationship coming about in Florida. And the divine justice here, Astria at 846, she is still making contact with Summer Wells. Yeah, I've seen this a lot. There's a lot of stuff that's going to come out about Bill Clinton today. Let me just tell you why. Because here in Nashville, Tennessee, let me pull up the new moon in Leo, and I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that. Or I'm going to show you why I'm saying that. Oh, what am I doing? New moon in Leo. going to see a lot of chatter about Clinton today. Excuse me. Come on, new moon in Leo. Let's bring it up. There we go. Let's see. 2025. Here it is. So it's Nashville, Tennessee time. And this is what I'm looking at. Oh, no. Wrong one. I saved it under the 11th. So I'm going to delete this one. Hold on. So check this out. The new moon in Leo. All right. So the sun is shining and reflecting at a 208. This is Clinton. This is Bill Clinton. And it's about him with publicity, possibly children. You know, the Epstein stuff is really surreal because it really shows us that there's corruption at the federal level. And so we cannot be, you know, we just can't think that corruption is only at the federal level. Corruption is in all these agencies. They're human. You know, they're human. They make mistakes. And some of them just continuously make mistakes. And this is definitely about Clinton. But this 411, this 911, and this 1350, we are seeing Chris Proudfoot and his ex-wife, Nina Gomez. Mars has already went over Saturn of Sebastian. Limits and obstacles with the movement and the action. And we've definitely seen that. The movement and the action is not enough. They're failing, Sebastian. New moon in Leo is also showing a lot of action here with Ceres at a 1551 that is opposing Michael Proudfoot. Michael Proudfoot, the father of Chris Proudfoot. And here we are. We can see that Mercury here at the 1350 in the 9th house is opposing Chris with a lot of energy. And this is at 2:11. Excuse me, at 2:11 p.m. Chris is really going to be feeling it. If he's not already, because it is in orb right now. But he and his private investigator couldn't even find a cat. And all those hours of looking at that video and going to try to blame a neighbor, blame a neighbor's kid, have, you know, other channels like Michelle After Dark. I'm not going to say what I really want to say about that chick. But, I mean, I have to say something. I mean, she's just a freaking goofball. She's a goofball. I can't even stand to listen to her talk. But nevertheless, the chatter is what I'm looking at. Because, you know, if the law enforcement was actually doing something, these energies that I am reading would be prevalent to the investigation. And it wouldn't just be about chatter, about dumb chatter. All of that she talked about, you know, because she is an SF Investigates fan. Not really a fan of the truth, just SF Investigates fan. Who could be looking at that video and not see the cat? I just don't get it. I mean, she still hasn't seen the cat. evidently. Yeah, she is an idiot, D Green. I mean, it's just so is the, we're going to have to see. So this Mercury, it's talking about quest for knowledge, proud of your learning abilities, believe that learning is fun, yada, yada, yada. You have a tendency to be a know-it-all. So now that Mr. Know-it-all, Chris Proudfoot, could definitely be Mr. Know-it-all. That could definitely be the opposition. But he is having this opposition. So the ninth house is about the courts. It's a higher learning. It's a school because it's in Leo. It could be about children and education. And it's in an opposition with the third house. The third house is about communications. It's about a sibling. So there is definitely an opposition that's taken place with him today. And his dad is having a full-on opposition as well with the law enforcement. It could be, but it's probably not going to be. It's probably not going to be because the law enforcement would have to be doing work. They would have to be doing work for this to be a full-on opposition with Michael Proudfoot and the law enforcement. It would have to be, they would have to be doing something to see a video that is in an opposition with Chris Proudfoot and a kid, Sebastian. They would have to be doing the work, but they're not. So, we are definitely going to see that this is not going to amount to anything because they're not doing anything to try to find Sebastian. Nothing. Even though I'm seeing that there is a letting go with communications, with relationships and the FBI, I can see that this Uranus is all about Michael Proudfoot and Melissa, Chris's sister. There's a shakeup. There's an abrupt shakeup with communications. Well, it's not going to amount to anything except the chatter. And it's very frustrating to see that there is nothing that's going to amount to anything because they would have to be doing the work. And let me see what this Mercury is doing with Ceres over here. So it's Square Vesta. It's about the flame of life with the past investigation. So this Mercury with Chris, with this opposition that he has, is challenging the flame of life. Whether or not Sebastian is alive or deceased, with video, things that are hidden, with the past investigation, like Mr. Fish Sticks wanting to come out and be like, oh yeah, look at this video, you dummy. Just goofball. Oh, it's opposing Palace. So this energy with Chris is not only opposing his natal with a lot of energy with Ceres, and Ceres is about groups, a group home, video, groups like We the People, Us. But it's also opposing this 1913, this third house of communications, about the investigation and the investigation that's coming in the future, because Aquarius is also about the future. It's squaring Juno. So this Mercury with Chris, this opposition, is also squaring a relationship, Juno. Juno is right here, this 1643. There's a relationship that is challenging Chris with video. Is that Mob Crew? This didn't take place yesterday or the day before. It's taking place today. Taking place today. But there's a relationship here that's bringing him a conscious raising experience about things that are hidden with the investigation. And again, this is happening later this afternoon. And Palace is the investigator, and this is the third house of communications. So let's see what else we got here with Chris. It's trying Ceres. So it's in a good standing with Ceres. And let me just say, look, this opposition is in a good standing with his dad. I'm trying to think if Melissa has that too, but I know that his dad does. And it's in the fifth house of kids. This is in the fifth house of kids and education. And there is a divine justice as well with Astria. There's a divine justice here. It's in a good standing. And just because it's in a good standing, y'all, doesn't mean that it's going to work out for him. Just because you have a trine and you say, oh, it's working in your favor. No, it doesn't mean that it's actually going to work in your favor. There's a justice here. The 848 is the TBI. And now we're coming down to the 846. That 846 is Summer. And I've been watching Summer's case, and I've been hoping that something is going to break and we're going to hear about it. We're going to hear about whatever it is that the TBI has been working on with Summer's case. So we've got a good standing here with Astria. Let's look at this. Square of Fortune, square Poseidon. Poseidon at a 1539. The Wisdom. Squaring the Black Moon, the Dark Moon. That's the state of Tennessee and the investigation, because people are coming hard. They're coming hard on the state of Tennessee, and they're like, where are our kids? Where's our kids? But most of this that I see with Tennessee today is probably going to be about ICE. ICE and the FBI with Tennessee. And if the TBI are doing their work, there could be great things coming about with Summer Wells' case. There could be great things coming about with Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' case if they are doing the work. But if they're not, we're just, spinning our wheels here. So it looks like there's definitely going to be things going on with ICE in Tennessee. Let's look at this. Okay, hold on. Now we're really getting into something here. Right. This is the state of Tennessee right here. So July 25th, 311. Let's look at this for a second. Let's look at this. There's Tennessee. This 846, like I said, this is Summer, so I'm not sure if this is going to be related to her brothers and the courts, the adoptions. But there's a fate here with Tennessee. This 2035 is the state of Tennessee's physician Apollo in the seventh house of relationships and partnerships. Of course, there's many others that are missing in Tennessee. It's not just these children. I mean, we've got a bunch of cold cases, right? Got a bunch of cold cases. Let's see. We have these kids that are missing out of Tennessee that I'm watching closely to see if they are going to be found in Florida or California. I've just started their map for one of the mothers. And I don't know how to exactly say Isaac's last name, but it's Jezebel Curry, aka Jezzy. Isaac. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. I'm not going to even try. And this is from Columbia, Tennessee. They've been missing since June 14th. And there's definitely reason to believe that they're in Florida. And if you know that these kids could be in Florida, have they been found yet, TBI? I mean, what is happening here in Tennessee? I mean, why is it so difficult to bring a kid home? Like, I just don't get it. It's been a whole month and a half now. These kids, I don't, I'm wondering if this sweet girl, I mean, they looked so sweet, like such a sweet couple, but it makes you wonder. She's 16, he's 15, makes you wonder if, there is some type of, especially with the new moon in Leo today, and we're in retrograde, it makes me wonder if, she could be with child, if that's what happened, and that's why they've left. What is this? July investigators have determined no foul play at this time. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, so we have children that are constantly going missing, and we have the law enforcement that constantly can't find them. And it's very frustrating. And, we can't say that they're not doing their job, that they're not, but there's something that they're not doing that they could be doing to bring these kids home a lot quicker and safe. Even though they ran away, well, they'll be back home, or they'll, I can't imagine. I just cannot imagine having my kids gone and missing and the law enforcement not talking to me. And that's very common. If you talk to Tabitha Tudor's parents, I mean, it's been decades that their daughter has been missing. And that's the one thing that parents will say over and over again. The law enforcement just act like they don't care. There's only one investigator on my kid's case, and they just act like they don't care. That's very common. It's a very common theme. They will treat kids as a runaway and not do their due diligence. It's a problem. It's a common theme. And the only way that there's going to be any change if the people force change upon them. That's the only way that I see any change coming about. And it's sad, but it's true. It's looking like hold up. Let me backtrack for just a second, because there's something. So this is Tennessee. This is July 25th. Looks like the sun is going to come in with the FBI and shine. Hold on. I don't see anything with our kids except this one with, there's a lot going on with Summer's case. But I want to, that's Sharfie Jr., man. I mean, that boy is constantly showing up. But let me look at this, because this could be something for the United States that we may want to keep an eye on. I know I'm back and forth. Hold on. And if those kids are in Florida, those kids that ran away from Columbia, if they are in Florida, I imagine that weather that Florida is going to have coming, especially in September, could push them to leave. That's why I'm thinking that I want to be looking in California as well. I don't know that they're going to stay in Florida, or that they have stayed in Florida. Okay, so yeah, this could be, because that's the third house of communications. This could be about Summer's brother and the adoption. This is a big day for the United States. whatever it is that's going to happen with Chris Proudfoot today, we're going to be reflecting on it on the 25th. That's tomorrow. No doubt about it. So Mars is showing up here in the 12th house. And Mars is going to sit on the 9th on Neptune for the United States in the 9th house. And Neptune is at 2225 in Virgo. So Mars is just going to sit there. This is going to be interesting. Could have to do with the Maxwell chick that's in jail. And I think that they're meeting with her today. Something's up. I'm going to save this and look at her chart with this later. I think that I see her, but I'm not I think I do. Definitely see a lot going on with Israel. The warring, and that is nonstop. And then there's going to be a letting go. This is the day that Kathy Bowersox will let go with communications. And if the FBI was doing anything on Sebastian's case, they would be connecting with her here. But we know that that's probably not going to happen. Right? Probably not going to happen. It's just going to be a bunch of dumb chatter. And that I've never seen, y'all, I have never in my life, like TikTok is nothing like YouTube. I have never seen so many grown people, men and women bashing each other every day. And thousands will be in the chat soaking it up. Are they not miserable? I mean, that just the creators that are doing it, you know that they're miserable. How is it that these people have they will have 1,000 people in that chat inciting, dwelling in it, loving it, loathing. And it's just like, that is so disgusting to me. We have way too many adults that could be using their attention on their kids, on their home, doing something else besides just talking mad shit day in and day out about another creator. It's the most juvenile, crazy thing I've ever seen. I cannot believe YouTube has not put a stop to it because it's so disgusting. But I guess that's, the free speech there. I don't know. I've never seen anything like it. I think it's so disgusting. Chris has got a lot, though. Let's see. Let's get this to the state of Tennessee right here. And with the FBI and with Chris. It's crazy. I almost want to say, I can see Trump there. A wake-up call for the future investigation with Chris. God, if the FBI would just do their job. But we know that so many of them are corrupt. Let's look at this. This is going to be in the midnight. It's going to be late at night. This is me and Seth right here. That Mars, a lot of energy. I should be asleep at this time. communications with the TBI is here in the past. $22.12. There's way too much happening here. And there's Florida. I wonder if is Florida. Let's look at the weather. Hold on. Weather in Florida. See if we're about to have some type of weather event. Anybody know? Anybody live in Florida? Tropical downpours to impact Florida. Disturbance in the Gulf for possible development. I think that's what's going on. That's what's probably going on. Then drier air starts to fill in Friday through the weekend. Let's look weather and let's look at Miami. Okay, I don't see anything that's coming. Maybe rain on Monday, but it doesn't look like. We'll move onshore. I don't know. For some reason, it looks like they're going to have weather. But it could be something else going on in Florida. Let me get that to... Y'all, if that Maxwell chick turns up deceased, I mean, oh my God, I think it's possible. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of attention on her. There is a lot of attention on her in the coming days, like tomorrow. Lots of attention on her. I mean, not that it hasn't been, but there is going to be even more attention on her. That 846, let me show you Summer. I'm gonna look at this one more time and talk about this one more time with Summer because this is so pertinent. This 846 that she has in her chart, it's Chronos. And Chronos is in Cancer. It's in the 8th house of death, rebirth, regeneration, the things that are hidden at home with the communications. And the 846 is, Astrid has been there and she's going to remain there. She is going to remain there, and then she's going to station. And as she stations, this is going to get more intense with things for Summer. And it, like I said, it looks like courts. It looks like the DA. And so either it's going to be about her sibling with the courts, or it's something that has been taking place with the district attorney on her case, building up evidence. I'm hoping that it's the building of evidence, but it's definitely possible that it could be about her sibling. It could be about her brothers, one of them being adopted, or, a lot of attention going to that. Jupiter is at a 1020. Let's look at her mom. Let's look at Summer's mom. I know I'm all over the place. I really don't. I probably shouldn't have went live today. I am not feeling the best. Okay, so 1003 Jupiter. Okay, so we are going to see 1003. Where's Jupiter at right now? Okay, so Jupiter has already went past that. So there has been a more, I think that we just haven't heard. I think that we just have not heard yet. It's possible. It's possible that we have not heard yet that there is, that they have been expanding the land, and I say they, I mean the law enforcement. There's definitely things going on with the law. In Summer's case, again, it's, we can see from the chatter let's see. What can we tell here? Because this is major for Summer. I mean, it's in her chart. It's about home. It's about land. I'm not sure what time Candace is born, but we can definitely tell that there's been a relationship that has given her a conscious raising experience and it's faded. I would say that this Hades is probably going to be her. I could probably push her up another 3 or 4 hours to get a correct birth time. This 238. Let's see. Where's her Leo? Mm-mm-mm. $15, $18. Let's look at this. Our series right here today. That's already passed, so I've already looked at that. $411. Let me think. Let's look at her dad, Don Wells. So he doesn't have that. Go back. Let's look at the new moon in Leo. Communications about war with the United States. They're definitely gonna be distracting. They're gonna be wanting to distract from Clinton. Clinton's all in this. Let's look and see if we can see if Clinton's in the Bill Clinton and Epstein. See if we see any news about that. And we do. House panel directs chairman to subpoena Bill and Hillary Clinton. Yep. This is what the new moon is all about, is this dude right here. But we know that it's not just the Clintons. And then there's Maxwell. So it makes you wonder if they're going to try to silence her as well. Two major names, Bill and Hillary. And I'll show you Bill Clinton's, just so you can see what I'm talking about, why I'm saying that I see him, because he has that 208, if I remember correctly. Bill Clinton. Oh, Bill. Oh, Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton. See the Saturn? See that Saturn? That Saturn's in Leo. It's in Leo. Limits and obstacles. The sun is shining on it. The moon will be reflecting. There it is. Now there's going to be a lot of energy, a lot of action about health going to Bill Clinton. It's going to make contact there at a 2156. And that is the reason why Bill Clinton is all up in this saga, this drama. It's all about the corruption. And the only way that we're going to be able to stop the corruption is if people stop, we the people. If we the people stop accepting it and just going about our lives as if nothing has happened. You know, Saturn at a 149 right now has just made contact with Bill Clinton here with this 152. And it's about the video. It's about groups. It's about we the people. And there's a lot of energy here. And Saturn stationed. Before Saturn went retrograde in Aries, before it went retrograde, it stationed at that 152, gearing up for this day, for this time period for Bill Clinton. We can see that there's a wake-up call about the investigation in the future, and there's a breakup with him and friendships. People that are close to Bill, that are also in that list or on that list, is they're breaking up with him. I'm like, we don't know you, dude. We don't know you. So yeah, that's the reason why I say that this new moon in Leo is all about Bill Clinton. Because not only is the sun going to shine, but so is the moon going to reflect on his public image and the publicity with minors. Nasty old men. Abuse of power. And we could say the same for Snuggle Struggle. Eric Craddock. We could say the same. We could say the same for him. The snuggle struggle is real. And, you know, priorities are not about our children. They don't care about our kids. They could care less about our kids at the highest level. And we shouldn't be duped into thinking anything less, because they don't care. So we could even pull Hillary, but I don't want to. I mean, we already know. The thing about Ozzy, you know, if we think about Ozzy and his death, I looked at that and I really don't. Something's up there. I'm not going to comment on that this morning because I'm just really not feeling good. And I probably shouldn't have went live because I can't really think about anything else other than the corruption, all the great opportunities that I see every single day for the state of Tennessee to solve some of these cases, and they never do. They just don't. I'm so pessimistic today. It's disheartening. Yeah, they're definitely not finding the kids. I mean, they can't find the kids because they aren't working to find the kids. They're just not doing a damn thing. I'm going to get Venus to the 2248 that me and Seth share with Don Sherfy Jr. because he's another nasty ass. He had only been out of jail, whether he had anything to do with it or not, he's still a nasty ass. He had only been out of jail for a month when Summer went missing. He should have stayed in jail. And you know what I think? These pedophiles, once they are convicted, they should be castrated. They should just be castrated. And if we don't do that, we need to do something different. We've just got to do something different to get different results. They shouldn't even have a bond. Protect these offenders and don't protect our kids. It's a damn shame. It's just such a shame. It makes me fighting mad. I just could spit. So let's go back to this 248 with Sherfy Jr. because I see Venus is going to show up there. There's communications here with, and I say me and Seth because me and Seth have, okay. All right, hold on. I'm seeing something different now. Seth and I share this degree. Excuse me. It's a 2248. And that's exactly what Sherfy has that transforms him in the public eye. And there's going to be communications. And we can see that Venus is squaring Mars in the 9th house of a higher learning, long travels, publicity, children. So I wonder who has that Mars. Who has the Mars? For Seth, I can see that there's a lot of attention with Melissa and the FBI. And that would be a wonderful thing if the FBI was actually doing anything on Sebastian's case to help bring him home. I believe that this 0041 is also connected to Melissa, Chris's sister. Trying to think if I see anything else. Let's look back at this. This squares the north and south node. So there is challenges. If this is about Sherfy and Summer, then the challenge is the DA. and the communications. And we know that Sharpie Jr. is in, he's back in jail. He's been back in jail. It's frustrating. Very frustrating. There's Astria. She is in the background. It's in a good standing with the moon, the sun. And it opposes Admetos, the 517. And that is coming to the United States. Of course, this is going to be about the courts, Department of Justice, the judges, all that good jazzy junk. But this is the FBI. There's going to be an expansion of limits and obstacles here with them. But this is also Melissa. So I'm going to save this and look at her chart later, compare. Because she seems to be in transit a lot with her brother today. A lot with her brother. And Michael Proudfoot. And if they weren't continuously showing up with Sebastian, I would think something different, but it would appear, let me look, hold on. It would appear that 1010 is going to be a lot of emotions. A lot of emotions. Jupiter, where's she at? See that? This is an emotional explosion at home, or it could be about mom. This Hades, it could be, let's see. It's 8:25 a.m. That's right. I've already changed her a few times. No matter what time she's born, though, this 1010 is where the FBI has limits and obstacles. And I can tell you one thing, if these people's houses, if their devices, if all of that has not been checked out, they have certainly failed at their job and failed Sebastian in a major way. Major. The flame of life is going to come and oppose her and her devices, things that she has of ownership. And it's just, I mean, I can see all that it could be, that could happen in this case, but again, I'm pretty irritated about that, because it's just not happening. It's just not happening. Could follow the money trail. This Venus is showing up with all of that. When Sebastian went missing, there is so much that was going on in the middle of the night, but 1:35 a.m., that's when there was a major opposition for him. 1:36 a.m., major opposition for him. And for the state of Tennessee, a shakeup, a wake up. And you see this divine justice at a 0043 at 1:36 a.m. Well, all of her problems with the communications, if they did their due diligence, and I say they, the FBI, if they would just do their due diligence, then we know between 5:30 and 6:30, that's where we could see those connections with her. There's a wake-up call at a 4:56 with Sebastian. Let's see. The moon is reflecting. Now I'm wondering, there's a 2249. That's going to... The lowest point for him, this would have to be, I think that this would be her. I think that she would be that 0041 right there. And I think that that's that evening, if they could look at those communications with her, then they may get further in their investigation with Sebastian's case. There's something here with her and her dad, Michael Proudfoot. I mean, there's something here with Chris and all of them. I mean, this was a planned event. This isn't something that just, happened spur of the moment. He goes outside playing flashlight tag. Give me a damn break. Give me a break, man. It's those devices, though. So that 0041 is in transit today with Uranus. That 0041. And then Jupiter is going to come and expand communications. It's going to give her a lot of mental problems. And again, I don't know what is going to be taking place this afternoon. And I'm sure it's just the chatter, but we just never know. We just never know. And I'm hopeful each and every time, even though it never works itself out. Let's look at Michael Proudfoot. And of course, these birthdays I found on public records, and they could be off. I don't know for sure, but these are the ones I've been working with, trying to find Sebastian, trying to understand what happened with him. See, he has the 0042. So there is, Uranus is going to come and shake him up. And if there's a timing, it's all about that timing, honey. All about the timing. And there is wisdom with Michael, with the justice system, with the law, with contracts. This 1551, like I said, is going to be opposed today. During this time with Chris and his sister and Michael, they are all in this will. Lots of emotions are taking place today. Lots of emotions. Will we see it? I have no idea. But there is a lot of, last night, there was a lot of disordered aggression with him and the investigation, the things that are coming out, whether that be online, through the mob crew, or through something else, but like I said, if the law enforcement would just work, then, to solve the case, we could stop talking about Sebastian, and we could rejoice in the fact that we know what happened, where he's at. But that's not the case. It's just not. And it's sad. It's very sad that we can't get there. Hey, Hope Floats. Hey, honey. And it's like, okay, so can I see anything here with, no, I can't. I can't tell where he could be at. I've played, the different theories in my head. Where could Sebastian be? Could he be at a facility? Could he be at a homeless camp? Could he be, have had an accident and he was, went into the manhole, or did they put him in the manhole? What did they do with him? Did they do something? Because there was a buildup before Sebastian went missing. There was a buildup. Going into courts with Nina. Makes you wonder. Just makes you wonder. There's tons of motive to get him out of the house. They had just been talking about schools. Where to put Sebastian? Behavioral schools. Helping with his behavior. And I have this feeling that, and I could be wrong. But I have this feeling that Seth could have been like, no, no, no. And then they got aggravated and said, you know what? We're just going to put him wherever we want to put him. Let's just send him here. They didn't think that the case was going to blow up like it did. They had no idea what was going to come. They should have known. You can't just report a kid missing and think that, everybody's just going to forget about him. And, the behavior is very suspect. You don't see parents just moving. I mean, not moving, but moving from a week later, 2 weeks later, they're acting like life is normal. Like, Sebastian's not missing. Let's go on vacation. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's go look for bikes. Let's, play house. And then you got people in the back. Oh, Katie's been crying. Chris is, they're this and they're. Come on, please. The first, creator that they went to was Duchess. You're going to go to a creator on YouTube and talk about your missing kid? That's weird. Very weird. Very weird. Let's just go to YouTube and talk about our missing kid. Okay. Yeah, it's not, I'm not buying none of that. I'm not buying it. But today, the new moon in Leo, hopefully there's new things that are going to come out. Whether we hear about them or not, I don't know. But this is a big day for Summer. Summer Wells has been missing for years. A year and a half, going on a year and a half. We have been missing Sebastian. And I do believe that this 1350 for Chris, there's this opposition that's coming for him, and I don't believe that we have seen it just yet. Now, if he gets up on a panel today and starts running his mouth, y'all remember this. If he gets up on a panel and starts running his mouth on YouTube or on something else, this is why. This is it. This is it. Let me see if I can get his chart more equivalent. Let's see. Where's that 1350? Yeah, let's go ahead and get it to the 1350 for Chris, because this is what's happening with him today. And we're going to look at this. I actually want to get it to where it's at a hard station. Right there. Let's go to the 5th house of kids. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and get him connected to the United States at a federal level with the kids if I can. Hold on. Let me get his chart the way I want it. This disordered aggression. That's it. Let's see if I can get it there. If not, no. Let me go back. All right, hold on. 6:54 a.m. This is where I want him, right here. I think this is where I want him, right here. Faith should be going home soon. Faith should be going home soon. Right. Hopefully. Let's look at this new moon now with him. Now that I've got him where that station is, because that's where this 1350, this stationing, there's this all this energy with Chris. No matter what time he's born, this is more than likely going to be at a station. It could be a 1351, but I don't think so. This 1350 is going to be in an opposition. So the media, the video, because this is Mercury is, when I see Mercury, I think of the little boy. Think of a little boy. I think of communications. It can be tricky. You know, it's Hermes. Mercurius Trismegistus. I think of Hermes, okay? And we know the myth. And if you don't know the myth of Hermes, you should check it out, because that is Mercury. It's the media. All attention is on the media and kids and education. And Sebastian, this 1350, is definitely going to be with an opposition with Chris today at 2 o'clock. So all this attention on Chris, it's about, you see the 2150. We know that Mars is coming and going to make contact with that 2150. It could be a 2153. If we moved him up, you know, an hour or two, then it would be the 2153. So we know that that is about the health factor, other people's money, things that are hidden with the investigation. It could be trash. It could be murky water. It could be a pond. It could be, you know, money, other people's money, loans, debt. That's what Scorpio is. It's investigative. But I would say that if we did move him up a little bit, Saturn is at a 411, or that Saturn was just being made contact yesterday, slowing him down with the investigation, because he has a very goofy private investigator. Who looked at that video a bunch, and they looked at the video a bunch before they decided to post it on X and be told that there was a cat. Goofballs, dummies. So the 1350 is definitely about the media. But will there be anything else, you know? There be anything else? We can only hope. Can only hope that something else is going to come about, because not only is he being opposed, but so is his dad. Why is his dad being opposed with a lot of energy? Why would his dad, Mr. Truck Driver, be opposed as well? Mr. Truck Driver is all in this too. Gonna get a little shaky shake with Uranus. What is Uranus? It's abrupt. It's abrupt. It's about communications. It's about communications in Gemini. And then tomorrow, Miss Kathy Bowersox will be, or tonight or tomorrow, whenever Sedna gets to that 142, she and the FBI will be letting go of some communication. So will we see her running her mouth too? The fruit don't fall far. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. If they cared more about Sebastian, right? Then they wouldn't even have to defend themselves, because they could help find Sebastian instead of worrying about what other people think. And that is a major problem. So no matter, you know, Chris could have this 232. It could be a 236. He would have to be born. No, it wouldn't be a 236. I would say that Pluto is going to be coming down in degree and going to transform the pain that he has with the communications and the lights. I've said it and I'm just going to keep on saying it. Things are not working out for Chris Proudfoot. They're not going to work out for him. It is going to continuously, Mars has yet to come over his Mercury. No matter what time he's born, Mars hasn't come to that Mercury yet. Mars hasn't come to the moon from which Sebastian disappeared from. It was a full moon the night before he went missing, a full moon in Virgo the night before he went missing. And the night that he went missing, the moon was still in Virgo let's look at it. Was that 2636? Let's look at Chris again. At 1:36 a.m., the major opposition and see, he's got a 2639 in his chart with Neptune. And what this means is that his South Node, where he's been before, where he feels really comfortable with the courts and the FBI and the TBI and the state of Tennessee, where he feels really comfortable, this is where we would have to dissolve this Neptune to try to find out and figure out what he's hiding. This goes to just north of Memphis. Just north of Memphis. I've shown it on the map countless times. Countless times. And these energies, with this new moon in Leo today, it's just going to keep on regurgitating. It's just going to keep regurgitating and coming back and coming back and coming back over Chris, over his wife, over his family. This isn't going away. And it's not going to go away until Sebastian is found, until he is brought home. It's not going to go away. Whether they are innocent or guilty, it's not going away. People are constantly going to be talking about them. I've asked people that would come over the house if they knew about Sebastian, and they would say, yes, I believe the mom and the stepdad know exactly where he's at. Strangers that I've met, ask them about Sebastian. They say the same thing. Look, their behavior is suspect as hell. It just doesn't, there's so many things that just don't sit right with people. And there's only probably a handful of people that truly believe that they had nothing to do with it. A handful. All these creators, all these people that act like, no, it's just their hate for Seth. But I think really deep down inside, come on, how in the world? So let's see if Chris was born around this time. Let's look at the 232 with Pluto just to see with Pluto. Where's it at? Oh, let me go back. 232. Let's see if we can, because we know that Pluto is going to bring some transformation. Let's go back. Okay, so here's the, okay, here we are. I know, Jeff. Yeah, you've said it since the very beginning. From the beginning. So this 233 is going to come down into the 232 or 233. Well, I'm pretty sure it would be a 232. Let's see. Let's see. All right, let's look at this. Let's look at this with Chris's chart. Because this Pluto is about to be going into the 232. Let's see. That's when it comes. Okay. So it'll have to do with Sebastian first. It's going to be Sebastian first and then Chris. But we can see it building up. I'm going to show you that. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Let me show you that. All right. So let's go back to Chris. He's going to be on the left. 11 a.m., 7:11. Okay, let's start here. So he'll be on the left. And these transits that I'm looking at, that I'm trying to see okay, so see this vertex? There's an intense experience with the vertex. You have an intense experience. And the reason why I stopped it here is because this 1846 goes to Sebastian. This 1143 goes to Sebastian. Now let's look at Sebastian first, then we're going to talk about Chris. I'm going to tell you how this is working out, what I can gather that this could be working out with Sebastian. So this is 9:11 a.m. on the 26th on Saturday. Good morning, BMW. Hey, honey. So Sebastian. Okay, so we know that this 1143 goes to Texana, the crazy woman. Texana, 1143. Maybe that's what it's about. There's information, there's leads that come in with the co-ascendant. Okay, so there's going to be a reigniting of a flame with communications. Saturday morning, somebody's going to go live. I don't know, but there is going to be this reigniting of a flame because that's what Vesta does. Vesta in Scorpio, in the third house of communications and siblings, she's Saturn-like. She can bring limits and obstacles to people until whatever matter has been extinguished. So what I mean by that is that until things have been resolved, until this investigation has been resolved, and even when it does resolve itself, if Vesta were to come into the same degree, same sign as the things that have taken place in the past with Sebastian and the investigation, it'll just reignite. We'll be talking about it again. We're going back. Even though Vesta is not in retrograde, we're going back into the past with Sebastian. But this 1143 Texana has. Okay. That crazy woman has that. And I say crazy woman because you don't have to believe me. You don't have to take my word for it. It's just my opinion. I have been around her and I think she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay. So there is a reigniting of a flame with Sebastian. May not have anything to do with Cocoa Puffs, but there is going to be a reigniting of a flame about the investigation. It could be a new lead that comes in that we may not know anything about. And then this 1846, it's in the fourth house of home with Sebastian. And you see that the 1143 is there as well. So we have the 1143 degree, 1143 degree, 1143 degree. For Sebastian at home with mom, Selena is a teacher. She teaches. She teaches about hospitals and God and, prisons and acceptance. Pisces is acceptance. It's hard to accept some things about your mama, Sebastian. I know. It's hard to accept things, but this teacher here allows him to better understand and accept some things about his home, about his mom, and his home is always being shaken up. There's always things that are being shaken up with him. He's very intuitive. Very intuitive. And before he went missing, the sun was shining at a 456 in Pisces at his lowest point with his mother. That would be around the time that he allegedly took the trash out. Okay. So this 1846 with Uranus, it's about groups, a lot of people. It's about shakeups that happen abrupt. It could be about water, unusual people that come in and out of his home, unusual people, unusual mother, because this is in the fourth house of home. It's about mama. It's about his home and things being shaken up at home. So that 1846 is where Pallas is going to be making contact, and there's going to be a wake-up call for the future with groups, with the investigation. So this is going to lead, whatever is taking place with Chris today, then the 26th on Saturday, there is going to be an intensity with him, with Katie, because they actually share that 1350. It's her Chiron. But what I'm looking at here too is the little that little nephew that's going through a Saturn return. He has a 2445, and Venus is coming into that 2445. This will also have to do with China, but I'm just saying. Tennessee is showing up here. The lunar nodes have already passed the state of Tennessee. These communications, there's the FBI and Kathy. And then what's going to happen is this evening on Saturday evening, Chris will be transformed. He will begin to be transformed. Now let me look at his. Let me look at him right here first. So his sister is going to be, she's going to have a lot of emotions, and then his emotions are with the 1212. Jupiter hasn't made it there yet, but it's coming. It's coming. I don't think we've seen the best of his emotions just yet. It's definitely coming. Let me see. What was that? 1036. The breakup. That'll be 4 hours. So that could be it. The 1036. Let me look at that. Hold on. Hold up. Chris. So 9:11 a.m. and then 7:11 p.m. Oh, and look at that. That was Summer is about to move forward. So Astria with Summer, that's moving forward with Sharfie Jr. I'll have to talk about that too. Hold on. 21. Because let me just say too, speaking of Texana and everything, it's the weirdest thing. And Jeff can attest. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. What she is doing to Seth with Chris. She is an ally with Chris, and her and Chris are like BFFs. They're buds. And I could show you proof if I just take pictures in court. But I'm law abiding, and I'm not going to do that. Because you're not supposed to have your phone on in court. But she is Chris's worker, for a better term. I don't know how else to say it. She definitely works for Chris. And I think it's going to come back and bite her in the butt, and I'm here for it. I can't wait for that to happen, really. Hygeia has already opposed Chris, the purity of health. And look at that. Venus is at a 2512. This is a personal planet. And so I really want to see, the transformation with him and Pluto that's coming in the future with us, with We the People, with videos and things of that nature. I mean, he is just, there's no way that he's going to be able to make it the month of July without being just ran through it. It's coming because, I mean, Venus is about to oppose. Venus is about to oppose his Neptune. I want to see that. Let's look at that. 2639. I can't wait. I want to see what that's going to do. Can't wait to see it. I'm here for it. Don't want to miss it. 2639. Yeah, it is crazy how they sit together in court and laugh and get reprimanded by the judge. It's a trip. 26. We won't have to wait long to see this personal opposition with his Neptune. In the middle of the night, Chris? In the middle of the night. In the middle of the night. Wow. And this is the same day that little Summer will have limits and obstacles with her dad, with the 11th house of groups, with the way that she brings in money, with the law enforcement. Interesting that she shows up. His mama or somebody must have that as well, because it just keeps showing up. This is at 1 o'clock in the morning, Chris. And look at that. There's Texana, that 1143. That's also Sebastian. It's the 4th house of home. This is in the middle of the night. And not only do I see, but I also see Crabtree. I mean, it is possible that Chiron that he has is not a 232, but it's a 231. The flame of life is going to come and reignite with his mommy. There's beginnings and endings here with children, with the way that we create here. Interesting. Total disrespect of Sebastian in the court system. What you said, Jeff. What you said. It's so distasteful. Like, if people in the public eye could see this, if they could see what we have seen with Texana and Chris Proudfoot, it is the weirdest shit. It is weird. It's absolutely weird. I ain't never in my life. And the fact that he is so bold with it. In front of the judge. Bold with it. That's crazy to me, man. It's crazy. Cray. But before this happens, before this 1143 comes with the transformation with the media and Texana, and Venus comes to oppose him. Shit. I can't wait to see this, y'all. Oh, can't wait. Before that, though, God's will is going to be done before all that. Let's get it back. Let's go Vulcan. Let's take Vulcan back to that 1143 before it gets a hold of him and Texana. Crabtree. Let's get it here at the 1143 first, because it's going to come. This is, why is it in the middle of the night, I wonder? Going to be in the middle of the night. The moon is going to oppose Kathy, just like it did the night before Sebastian went missing. Her brilliant, dumb ideas. Here we go. Here we are. And it begins in the fifth house of kids. This is crazy because there's that 1652 as well. We are reflecting with Sheriffy Jr. We are reflecting with Michael Proudfoot. This is something else, man. What I tell you what. Fifth house of kids. This is at 11. This will be around 11. But this is going to be. What is going to be said? What will be that is going to be? This is going to be a big one for Chris. I mean, and it begins today. Like it begins today, and we're just going to go through the whole weekend with a lot of opposing forces with him and his family and Katie. And Katie. And then Jupiter is going to come to the state of Tennessee and expand right there at 2:27 a.m. And there's the 1212 with Chris Proudfoot. Let's get that to the 1829 because we were reflecting the intense experience that would have taken place at home with Sebastian. With Sebastian at home, that's what we were reflecting with this moon in Virgo. There's the 2642 that Sebastian and the TBI have. The 1055 is the Pluto with the state of Tennessee. And the lowest point with Sebastian. And the health factor. That 2642 is the law enforcement with Sebastian. And any leads that have been coming in, this would be the time for the TBI to show up and show out. Are they going to? More than likely not. More than likely not. They're not going to. But this is a Texana day. Texana and Christopher. All the while, the health factor is opposing Little Summer Wells. I hate that. But again, I mean, even though if there's an opposition, it could be good for her. It could be good for finding her. Then there's a weight. There's going to be a weight that is going to come over Mr. SF, Mr. Fish Sticks. There's going to be a weight that's going to come over him. Could be with California. There's a weight that's coming over me. There's going to be a weight coming over Summer Wells. We share this 1450. The sun is going to shine on the Saturn of Michael Proudfoot. Saturn is about his work, Mr. Truck Driver. And then we see Venus, the end of July, on Thursday, come in to Cancer. And for us, that will be a good thing. Looking for Sebastian. Venus coming into Cancer is going to be a good thing. Let's see. There's a lot of disordered aggression coming to the ascendant of Summer Wells now at the end of July. Let's see. This is a devouring energy with Mississippi on the 31st. A lot going on in Mississippi. And Homeland Security. Go back. There it is. Okay, so the 29th. The 29th is a Tuesday. This is at 4:30 in the morning. Hold on. Let me get this back because I want to remind you guys, because I'm looking at this. There's a reflection. There's a reflection that Mars is coming to oppose the boy, the nephew in. There it is. Hold on. So General Proudfoot Jr., his Saturn is about to be opposed by Mars on the 29th. And why does this matter? It matters because the boy lives in Virginia. He's just went through a Saturn return. Mercury has just been over the state of Tennessee at a 10:55 early in the middle of the night. Now the values, the money, things of ownership are opposing him and his Saturn, because his Saturn is in Pisces. And it's at a station, a hard station at a 24:45. And I can remember that because I know that China also has this degree. So we'll see China. But that boy had just been in transit right before this opposition. State of Tennessee is showing up with a lot of attention on children. And the 1614, that is Sebastian. He has that 1614, and there's this timing here. The 29th, Sebastian and Eric Craddock are in transit together. Also, Donald Trump, the United States, and China are in transit together on this day as well. And then there's a shakeup. There's a shakeup that is coming with Tennessee. Other states, but Tennessee is one of them. There's a shakeup that's coming with Tennessee. It could be the earth, it could be something else, but there is definitely things happening with the state of Tennessee, with Eric Craddock. He's going to have a huge weight on him. There's a devouring energy, a timing with Sebastian on the 29th. And limits and obstacles with Kathy Bowersox, and the FBI. And we can see that the dark moon has just passed over that 1350 with Chris. And so again, we're looking at this. I'm looking at this in a way that could bring justice or closure. There's something about that boy, because he is also showing up in the transits. And then we see the 1616 once again that goes to Mississippi. There's a lot of energy in the 9th house with Mississippi. And there's a divine justice with a TBI here in the 4th house of home. So again, I'm showing you that they have an opportunity. The TBI has an opportunity to show up in Virginia. The TBI just has an opportunity. Okay. There's an opportunity here for the TBI to do great things with Sebastian's case. And there's a huge weight upon Eric Craddock. It could be with the home, with the mom, with the new construction. But there's a justice during this time period as well with the TBI right here. Excuse me. Right here. At 2445, let's look at general profit. Junior. Let's look at Junior. Junior. Are y'all following me? You understand what I'm saying? This boy is a Proudfoot. Chris used to live with them. You can find it on public records. Oh, we won't look at that one. Let's duel it out. Let's see what's going on with him this day. Let's see what's going on. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So there's going to be a lot of energy that is coming to oppose General Proudfoot Jr. And there it is. And there's a lot of energy that's coming this afternoon to oppose him with good reason. With good reason. Because Chris used to live same place. Same place. Mm-hmm. That's right. And you see the 2445 that's at a station. This is his Saturn. Limits and obstacles. Responsibility and authority. Accountability. Accountability. Okay. I'd say that because this is an opposition, that this wake-up call with the investigation, with publicity, is actually not a 413, but a 415. I'd say so. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'd say so. Mm-hmm. No matter what time this boy is born, his Saturn is a 2445 and Mars is going against him. The value house, the money house, the car, the vehicle, the movement. Where's he going? What's happening? Because this is at 6:30 in the morning. Is he going to, get in a wreck going to work? Is his dad going to get in a wreck going to work? What's happening here? Because I know that there's a lot of energy at a 1616 that is going to Mississippi. But then the 1650s are going to come and oppose him again. So I'll be looking at this boy. And the only reason why I keep coming back to him is simply because the transits call me back to his natal chart. I'm not saying he had anything to do with it. I'm just saying that there is a lot that I'm seeing here with the TBI, the justice, the home, the things that are hidden. And there's this weight that has come over Eric Craddock all day on the 29th. And will we see it on the 28th probably? It's going to lead us here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So could we see anything at all come about with Sebastian, his case, on the 29th? Yeah, I think so. I think that Kathy is going to have some limits and obstacles here with the FBI. May not hear about it. I don't know. 28. Venus is going to come to his dark moon, disordered aggression about the communications. Let me look at the fire starter, Landon. Do y'all remember who Landon is? The fire starter. Let's see if Landon's going to be in the mix with this. See if he'll be in the mix. And it looks like he will. Looks like he will. Sure enough. So interesting that he would have lunar nodes at a 1733, which is the values of Seth with his sun. Going to be a lot of energy coming over his Saturn on the 28th. And I know that I've showed you guys that on the map, on Sebastian's map. Let me see if it'll pull up without going down on me. Let's see. Let me just show you the map. I've got all the leads on the map. Let me turn off some of these. Let's go back. Let's go into Virginia because something's up with these people, man. Something is up. They keep on showing up. And like I said, Chris used to live with them. Their little family home. Let's do the addresses. Come on, Jesus. I gotta... Yeah, we're right around here, I believe. Here we go. It's this area right through here. Here's the natal. This is where information leads come in. And the missing Vesta, the flame of life. The flame of life that could be reignited and found to be alive. Could go all the way to Virginia right here. And then the state of Tennessee, there where they've been before with communications. And the wisdom that they have about the communications could definitely go to this area. This is where Eric would learn something about the communications. What is that? What is that? Falcon Center? Payson Center. But where he is going to be weighted down is right. Let's see. Where's Katie? Let me find Katie again. It's right here. So this is around the area that he would be weighted down. There's something up. There's just something up that it just doesn't make any sense. That he hasn't been found yet, that he hasn't called Seth yet. And if he has called Seth, if there has been any type of communications there, the FBI, the TBI, none of them have done anything about it. So, because they don't give a shit. And if they do give a shit, then they need to show it. They just need to show it. But these Proudfoots that live in Virginia need to be talked about. I shouldn't be the only creator talking about them. I only have so many followers. I don't think that I should be the only creator talking about them. I definitely think that this family knows more. I definitely think that they know more. I think that there is a possibility that Sebastian is being hid. Why would they hide him? Who is really going to help him with his behavior if he's not in a center or home? And if he is in the United States, then that's federal. That's, that's criminal. Right? I mean, it's criminal. So these people, though, are going to be and will continuously be in transit with Sebastian. And so that is something that I do not see at all with the chatter that's not showing up with the chatter online. Nobody's talking about them. And that's why I'm wondering if there's any possible way that the law enforcement could be looking in other avenues besides just the silly drama on YouTube. Maybe they are really looking into this family deeper. If I'm looking into them, you would think that they would be. He lived there. I mean, he used to live there. He used to live with these Proudfoots. Big old places. They've got a big house. Looks like the White House. Lots of land. They got a pond so big it looks like a lake. And if there's anybody that is influential, excuse me, in Chris's family, because these Proudfoots are highly connected to the United States at a federal level. This boy is connected to the United States at a federal level with his Saturn. And so these two kids are not really kids. I mean, I call them kids because they are kids to me. And one of them has went through a Saturn return and another one is about to go through a Saturn return. So this 1604 with Saturn's about to dip back in to Pisces. About to dip back into Pisces. It's not going to hit General Proudfoot Jr. It's not going to hit him. When Saturn dips back into Pisces, it's not going to hit him. Saturn will station at a 2509 with the U.S. Marshals in the state of Tennessee on November 27th. A lot of devouring energy in Florida. I see a lot going on here. There's going to be a Saturn return coming for Mr. Landon, the fire starter. And if he's enrolled in the military, which I think that he could be, then this could be a warring time for him with Saturn. Let's see if it ever went to that 16. It's not. Saturn's going to go all the way down before it comes all the way back up. So it's going to be a while before this boy has his Saturn return, but he's feeling it. He's already feeling it. And this would be it. March 25th, 2027. March 25th, 2027. Let's see if Sebastian shows up here. Right there. There's Sebastian. There's Mr. Chris. And it's just, it's there. His family is constantly showing up with Sebastian. Sebastian, that 1614, that is God's will is being done. There's a breakup with Sebastian here with the 456. And this is Landon Saturn return. March 25th, 2027. You heard it first here. Sebastian will have a birthday in February 2027. Wow. This is cool to see. This is it, though. This is the boy's Saturn return. Are y'all following me? Do you understand what I'm saying? Could he be going to court this day? Could it just be something else? I just don't think so. I don't think so. Something up with these people. Something up. So let me make sure I've saved this. I'm going to show you Sebastian. Sebastian's 2113, his public image. This is Saturn. That's where Mars is going to be in the second house of values. (1614) that is constantly showing itself in the transits. We're going to see the 1614 with Michael Proudfoot Jr., with Mars opposing him, with the weight and everything that's coming with Craddock. That is coming. The 1614 right here. But then the breakup. That 456, the 456, this is his midheaven. It's about his health. It's about his public image. This is the lowest point with his mother at home with Pisces. 456, there's a breakup. It's a breakup that's going to be taking place. There's a lot of attention with Vulcanus at a 429. Vulcanus is going to be coming to that 428 with the moon. What's the moon? It's Sebastian's mom. Sebastian's mom wants him to be independent of her. He is independent of his mother. It is what it is. The day before, though, on March 24th, there was a timing about a home that's hidden. 432. The day before, the 2642 with the TBI is going to be opposed with Sebastian and the groups with the law enforcement agencies. Because for some reason, I think that they have written him off. They think that he's deceased somewhere, or I don't know what they think. I just don't even understand what's going on with the law enforcement. But the day before, the 2642, there was an opposition with Sebastian, with his physician and the law enforcement with the TBI. But then that opposition has lifted off of the TBI. And communications are beginning and ending here with the TBI. And the sun is going to shine on that 456. The sun is going to be shining on his moon in Aries during this period of time. And we see Mercury. Mercury's in 840. Look at that. There's the wisdom. The wisdom with Poseidon, 840. Very intense. Going to bring some enlightenment about the investigation, about things that have been hidden. Yep. And the dark moon, the disordered aggression, is going to come over my Mars. And I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to be pissed off. Then the desires, this 1227 with Cupid, is going to come to and make contact with the 1228 with the law enforcement. What's he going to do? Call home? Is he going to call his dad? Because his dad should be learning something. Let's look. Dad should be learning something here. 2248, hopefully. Right there. And the moon is reflecting the 2208. It is reflecting his Uranus in the 5th house of kids, where he's reflecting. And so playing this tape through doesn't give us any type of it's not, I mean, this is 2027. It's frustrating. And then the 645, that's going to come to the 648, the outer will with Sebastian. Right there. March 28th, 2027. And Katie has the 919 in her chart. She also has a 916 in her chart. And that is going to be showing itself. This is a big day for Summer Wells, too. It's crazy that her, Summer, and Dad, and Sharfie Jr. are also in transit same day. It's so weird how they piggyback. Very weird how they piggyback. But I think that, the problem is there's a lot of distractions with this case of Sebastian's. And I think that the attention should be on the Proudfoots. Most definitely should be on the Proudfoots. So there's going to be a transformation with Sebastian and the law enforcement here. And then we see that this transformation of health is going to come to that 428, but Vulcanus is already there with his moon, with his mom, all attention on his mommy. And then the 1348, well, there's going to be a lot of energy coming to the family, coming to the land, coming to Katie and her pain. She's going to have a lot of pain. And look, there's the 414, right? I'm just like, wow, I see these Proudfoots all in the transits. And my wisdom with Poseidon at a 2638 is going to have Zeus all on it this day. Let's go ahead and get this Mars to a 2056 with Eric Craddock. Mars and Leo. Let's see Mars and Leo with Eric Craddock. I see John, their friend John, holding the fate. And then Eric Craddock is going to be right here. Right here. March 30th, 2027. And look at that. That 1614 with Sebastian, that Vulcan that he has in his chart. It was in transit when he went missing. It's at a station. Very intense. Very, very intense for Sebastian here. And here it is. This is where the communications with Eric Craddock gets blown up. I'm talking about blown up. Blown up. Lots of energy, lots of action. And there's going to be a wake-up call for Mr. Chris. There's a divine justice here with the 1256 with Virginia. I'm sharing pain with groups. And this 1808, guess who has the 1808? Y'all, you guessed it. You guessed it. The DA, the judge, Judge Blanton, DA Whitley. That's who will be holding the fate with Melissa and Nina, the courts. And then the wisdom is coming to Landon, the same degree that he shares with Seth. And that's that. And that's all I've got today. Because what else can we see? What else can we talk about? I'm looking ahead 2 years. I hope Sebastian is found before then. I hope that these law enforcement agencies would actually do their job, but I have no faith that they're going to do anything other than nothing. Other than nothing. Jupiter is going to expand. Not only do I see Virginia here, but I also see Alabama. I see Virginia and Alabama. But I most certainly see the DA, Texas, John in the UK. I can kind of see that, but not as much as I do when I'm talking about the Proudfoots, when I'm talking about Landon and General Proudfoot Jr., when I'm talking about those family members in Virginia, I somehow see so much more that I didn't see before. The health factor with Katie and all her problems. But that watch is right here in the 5th house of kids. Her desires to put Sebastian somewhere. It's surreal. It really is. It's surreal. All the things that they hide. It's surreal. There's that 1350 again with Mercury. There's a 350 with the state of Tennessee and Sebastian. And the dark moon. The dark moon is at a 2148. Well, the dark moon at a 2148 is the Neptune. Sebastian's Neptune is at 2148 in his 3rd house of communications in Aquarius. And it's going to be making contact. There's a dissolving here. And it's either at a facility, like a business, or this disordered aggression is going to be about Chris, because there's Chris and his mom. The 1350 is not just Chris and his mom, but the 1350 is also Eric Craddock. And, I just can't keep saying the same thing over and over again. At one point, maybe the law enforcement will do something different to get different results. The 2904 is with the education with Sebastian, with the with Chiron here. And that education with Sebastian, a higher learning, the 2904 is where Chiron is going to come back into transit right there. Jupiter is expanding communications in the 11th house of groups. And this is going to Katie. The 1811 is John, Lori's husband, John, where they've been before. It's like, could they have all just conspired? You wouldn't think so. You wouldn't think that there's a lot of people that know. That's dangerous for a bunch of people to know what happened to Sebastian. That would be really dangerous. Could it be that they are just, in transit together for no apparent reason? I don't think so. Don't think so. But there will be limits and obstacles here in the 7th house of relationships with Summer Wells, Crabtree. These relationships that won't amount to anything. And then the Alabama connection that Seth has, there's going to be a wake-up call here in the evening. There's Nina. It's like we're just going to keep on going over the same old. But there's a reason why these two kids have been going through a Saturn return in Virginia while Sebastian's missing. I think that there's a reason, because the Saturn return is so much more intense, and it's about responsibility and accountability. And this boy is going to be having an accountability. The fire starter, Landon Proudfoot, General Proudfoot Jr. What do they know? What do they know? And that's where I'm going to leave it. I hope you guys have a good rest of the afternoon. Thanks for hanging out with me, even though I haven't felt good and I'm all over the place. I appreciate it. I just wanted to, haven't been live in a while and been dealing with so much family stuff, but I'm not feeling good. But I do want to, remind you guys of the things that we've been watching for that have been showing itself with Goofball, SF, and it's not going away. It's not going to go away. It's not going to go away until Sebastian's found, even if that is in 2027. I hope not. I hope we don't have to wait until he's 18. And I've definitely looked at that chart when he's 18. And I've talked to y'all about it with the Proudfoots. Mr. Chris's family. Crazy, man. Crazy. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Talk to you soon.
Clean like your soul, won't be forgotten. We stand strong for you, never give up. Seek justice and truth. Day and night we search. Community gathers, wipe the tears away. Rise up for you, Sebastian strong. Sebastian's army, we march on. Each day comes and goes, hope in our hearts. You're never alone, we'll bring you home. Wish it was a dream, babe. It lingers on, but strength we carry will keep you strong. Rise up for you, Sebastian's strong. Sebastian's army, we march on. Each day comes and goes, hope in our hearts. You're never alone, we'll bring you home. Wish it was a dream, hey, it lingers on, but strength we carry will keep you strong.